All right, good morning, traders. Today is December 20th, 2024. My name is John Carrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Good morning to everyone here and the visitors. Thank you for finding value in my content. Thank you, everybody out there on Digital Land and Cyberland. Thank you for finding value in my content. I'm talking about Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate that. I love the subscribers. Thank you. Like the kind comments as well. All right, my SPY pivot this morning, 581.54. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY closed 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute downtrend. SPY, Diamond Dow, QQQ, and IWM all made lower highs and lower lows, closing under their traps underneath the 17 EMAs. FNGU made an inside day, closing under the bearish trap, but over the 17 EMA. A little bit of strength there as compared to the others. IWM, Diamond Dow, and SPY are in daily downtrends. FNGU, QQQ are still in daily uptrends. That means they haven't made lower pivot lows than the prior pivot low. So they're still in uptrends. SLV, GLD in downtrends. Made lower lows and lower highs, closing below bearish traps under their 17 EMAs. UNG starts a new uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. USO still in an uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish cross, but above the 17 EMA. US dollar index still ratcheting up higher. It's in an uptrend, closed near the 108.36 area. All right, I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. Let's go look at some charts. All right, first chart. Well, we'll just go through the game plan. All right, so the pivot this morning, 581.55. All right, and that's because we gapped down in the pre-market futures or in the stocks right there. So we gapped down right there, 581.55. That's going to be my pivot. Above that, I want to be a bull. Below that, probably going to be a bear. My bearish entry so far this morning's 579.80. So price breaking below 579.80. I'm probably going to be a bear on this morning. That would be red erases green. On the bullish side, it's a long ways off. SPY price over 585.47 is my bullish. Red erases green. Green erases red. Got to have 10-minute. Need to have a 10-minute uptrend. All right. Same as on the bearish side. I want to have a 10-minute downtrend. All right. When I buy this candle, if it's a bullish one, no doji candles, no topping wicks. On the bearish side, no doji candles, no big long tails on the bottom, okay? In other words, I don't want to see more tail than I see body and wick, all right? That's what I'm looking for. All right, on the bearish side, I don't want any green candles. I don't want to buy into strength. And on the bullish side, I don't want to buy any red candles. I don't want to buy into weakness, all right? I like 7 DTE options and 14 DTE Friday options. I happen to have some 0 DTEs that I held from last week that I will be trading today. All right, but if you ask me which options I like, it's the 7, the 14s. They expire on Friday. The reason I like those Friday options because they have higher open interest. With the higher open interest creates more liquidity. All right, I like them $2 to $5 out of the money. You can take your choice. I don't go for Delta. I just looking for something that I can afford that kind of fits my parameters right there. All right, so 7 to 14 DTEs, $2 to $5 out of the money. All right. Now I manage those trades based on the 10-minute chart and the 15-minute chart, and I'm looking for the yellow 3 EMA to cross over or cross under. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So there's SPY. That's a 5-minute chart of SPY. Here's a 10. All right, right there's a 10. Okay, so let's go take a look at some other indices. Actually, let's go take a look at SPY on the 10-minute chart. But let's pick up a different one. Okay, so you can see into the close right here, we have the thin yellow line is underneath the white line. Okay, so price candle, notice the price candle and the thin yellow line are underneath the white line. It's hard to see. All right, the white line is the 8 EMA, so the faster moving average is underneath, creating a space between the yellow and the white line. All right, so that's, to me, that's a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close yesterday. All right, on the 2-hour chart, we're going to experience the same thing. You can see the yellow line and the price candles underneath the white line or gray line right there. So you got price in the 3 underneath the 8 EMA and the 17, which is these red dots right there. So that's a 2-hour downtrend. On the daily chart, got the same thing happening, plus we broke the pivot low. So here was a pullback low, and price went below that low. So now they've converted their uptrend, negated their uptrend, and converted it into a downtrend. So there's SPY in a downtrend now. All right, that's the daily chart. Let's take a look at, what do we want to look at? Let's go look at QQQ. We'll start over here, pick up QQQ. We'll look at it on the scratch right through here. QQQ still in an uptrend. If they take out this low, they'll be in a downtrend. QQQ price action yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing underneath the trap. See the yellow faster line is underneath the white line. So there's a bearish trap underneath a bearish trap, and underneath, see the red ball there? All right. So that's underneath the 17 EMA. So under the trap, under the 17 EMA. Okay, these pink lines are anchored VWAPs. Okay, that happens to be the all-time high anchored VWAP. And this happens to be a prior high anchored VWAP. And then here's another prior high anchored VWAP. Don't really need that one. Probably don't even need this one either. Don't need that one either. So there's QQQ, still in an uptrend until it breaks that low. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU will be in an uptrend till it breaks this low down here. Okay, so right now, price up over a prior all-time high anchored VWAP, but not over the high anchored VWAP right there. All right, price action hanging out in the upper third. That's still bullish. All right, price action in an uptrend because they haven't beat this low down here. Looking like an exhaustion candle up there. Okay, so there's FNGU, still in a daily uptrend, still bullish up here in the upper third. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap. See, there's the 3 underneath the 8, under the bearish trap, and under the 17 EMA. Okay, so there's IWM on the daily chart. Now they took out this low right here, so IWM is in a downtrend. All right, so there's IWM in a downtrend, and underneath this midpoint right there. Okay, so they're under their all-time high anchored VWAPs right there and right there. All right, so there's IWM in a downtrend underneath the midpoint. We could probably pull this out to about here, right there. So underneath the midpoint there. So they broke that low and they broke these two lows right there. So IWM in a downtrend. Diamond Dow. Let's go back to IWM. So IWM, this would be minor support, this area right through here, right across the tops of those. You can see we're under minor support. Okay, we don't want to break major support, which would be the bottom down here. That would mean things are falling apart if they break through the major support. And I'm talking about the consolidation from this area right here to this area right here. Okay, so you look through there. That's your consolidation. That's your minor support, is that green line up top. And then this blue line at the bottom, that would be your major support right there. Don't want to break through that. Okay, you see they already broke through the minor support, so chances are they may come down here and consolidate again. We'll see. Here they were in a bullish flag consolidation. They may consolidate in a bearish flag down here. We'll see what happens. There's IWM. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, here's Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow takes out the low, so they're now in a downtrend underneath these two high anchored VWAPs up there. Price action, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap. Notice the trap and the candle closed. It's a red candle. So they started here and they ended here. So they're closing under the trap and under the 17. 17's way up here. They close down here. Under the midpoint as well. So there's Diamond Dow in a downtrend. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. T2122 in the oversold zone, got down as low as 0.61. That's incredibly oversold. All right, 0.61 on T2122. Look at T2123. Price action on T2123 is a 15-minute chart right here. Price action was yesterday was red all day long. See, just continued selling all day long and putting themselves in a position of a bear flag right there. So kind of moving down and holding the lower ground, hockey stick right there. Okay, so probably another move to the downside. We'll see if they find support right here on this green line. That represents some, I think that represents some major support. Hold on. Things are messing up on me. Hold on. And I want no screen. There we go. All right. So let's see if I can back this out some and look over to the left. Not quite. We'll get it on the 2 hour. All right, here's a 3-bar chart. It's the same product, T2123. All right. I like to watch this. So here's the support right here. This was a prior all-time high. So chances are they're probably going to come down here and embrace or kiss this prior all-time high and then bounce off of that. We'll see how far they can bounce with it. All right, so there's T2123 breaking through, making lower lows. All right, one doesn't find support till it gets down to this prior all-time high right here. Okay, so that's a prior all-time high, 636.312. We'll see what they want to do. All right. Right now, they're in a downtrend. And on the 15-minute, they got the hockey stick going on. All right. Let's look at FNGU. You can see price action before I go to FNGU. Well underneath this rolling over 200 SMA. You can see the price action. Okay, is well underneath this 200 SMA right here on the 3-bar chart. You can see a big distance between price action and the 17 EMA. Probably due for an elastic or rubber band pullback pretty soon. Can't stay down here for too long. It can stay here for a while, but it can't stay extended like that for a long time. Eventually, either price retraces back to the moving average, or the moving average comes down to meet the price action as price consolidates before going lower. All right, or consolidates before reversing. So there's T2123. There's our 3-bar chart. Let's take a look at FNGU. All right, FNGU was, this would be yesterday's price action. Selling all day, almost all day, right there, except for this one green candle bar right there where they came up and spiked VWAP right there. And then after that, just more selling. And you can see even more selling here right into this prior high anchored VWAP. So we'll see if they're going to get a bounce. I would expect a nice bounce off of that today. We'll see what we get. All right, so let's go take a look at precious metals. I'll go back to this chart. Silver. Silver's in a downtrend because they're making lower highs and lower lows. All right, silver is showing a head and shoulders pattern right here. There's your blockhead. All right, and then here's your right shoulder and your left shoulder. Look for the right arm to extend down as far as the left arm. We'll see. They're now in a downtrend. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold also in a downtrend. All right, gold took out this low right here, so that puts them in a downtrend. Price action for yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap under the 17. Same with SLV. So gold on the bullish side of the midpoint right here. So gold showing a little more strength than silver. If we go back to silver, you can see silver is almost coming into quadrant 1, whereas gold is still up here in quadrant 3, and they just lost the upper third a couple days ago. See that red candle down. Okay, so gold and silver both in downtrends. Silver looking much weaker than GLD. All right, that would be gold. Let's take a look at energy. Start off with UNG. And I guess we're going to have a new president. So looking like markets ramped up, or investors are ramped up for natural gas, thinking that possibility that we open up the markets for natural gas and start shipping more of it to foreign countries. Anyways, higher low, higher high, uptrend for UNG. They made the higher high yesterday, right there, closing up over this candle there. Okay, so UNG in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. Look at the candle for yesterday, higher low, higher high, closing above a bullish trap over a rising 17 EMA. So there's UNG. Let's take a look at USO. Now USO is in a consolidation wedge. All right, so we got a point here, and we follow price action right across the tops. Got a top here, 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 and here. Got a little breakout going on. All right, it's not the kind of breakout that I'm looking for. Usually, I'm looking for a breakout where you open the rear door and the dog goes bolting out of the house. All right, because he wants to sniff every tree and he wants to chase squirrels or whatever he likes to do, or she. All right, so there's some USO. I'm not getting that loving feeling breakout where the dog just flies out the back door. All right, so I would like to see. I said I would support the winner of the breakout. I'm not feeling it because it's not much of a breakout. It's kind of a melt out, and I'm looking for price action for USO. If they're going to be the bullish side breakout, this would be the bearish side breakout down here. I'm going to need them to come up here and start closing candles over these wicks up here, up in here, consolidate up there. Show me they can move up and hold the higher ground, right around 74.90, 74.80 area right there for USO. So for right now, just going to let it continue to consolidate. All right, take a look at a few sectors. SMH was looking good, and then they lost it. All right, let's try this again. SMH. So SMH is our semiconductors index, and they came up here and they made a higher high. So that put them in an uptrend. Not only were they in an uptrend, but they were over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Not only in an uptrend and over all-time high anchored VWAP, but they were up in quadrant 4. So they were really looking good for breakout, but they couldn't hold the higher ground. That's the problem. So they got this red candle coming down, and see the valley low right through here. Got a valley low. Well, they turn around and they made a lower low. So they negated the uptrend, converted the downtrend, and now they're making lower highs and lower lows, closing under bearish traps underneath the 17 EMA. All right, so there's SMH now back in a downtrend, and you can see them now starting to flirt with the midpoint line. All right, so they were looking bullish all through here, kind of a uptrend to move up and then over to the right. See right there, that was a bull flag. The flag is still intact, but I'm just not, looks like they need much more consolidation before breaking out to the upside, or they might not have it in them. This might be the high. So we'll see what happens with SMH. They're not really like breaking down. They're still holding over the midpoint, so that's still a bull flag. All right, they're just not moving up and still consolidating. All right, let's take a look at XLK. XLK was looking good till they went up and then they gave it up. XLK still up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Still up over a prior all-time high anchored VWAP, see right there. All right, so that's bullish, all right. The only problem is they went up, all right, they went up and then they gave it up. So I'm just neutral, all right. They're on the bullish side of things. They're up in quadrant 4, so they're neutral bullish up there. That's XLK. That would be the technology sector. And you can see that's probably a good reason why FNGU is doing so well. All right, let's take a look at XLI. XLI is in a downtrend. They made a lower low. Here's the low. They made a lower low. They're underneath the midpoint. You can see price action. Yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the 17 EMA. Where will they find minor support? It's a long way down for minor support. It's almost way down here in quadrant 1. Okay, so long ways for minor support. They may find some support right here. We'll see. Maybe some right there coming into today. We'll see what happens. Probably going to be a little bounce right there, maybe a 2-candle bounce. And then we'll see where they go from there. So there's XLI in a downtrend. Let's take a look at XLU. Making a lower low. Here's the low. They made a lower low. So they're in a downtrend as well, underneath the midpoint. Okay. So kind of neutral right there because they've gone up. Let's just put it there. And they're giving up a good part of it. See how they're giving up like more than half of what they've got. So it's just neutral right there, XLU. All right, let's take a look at XLE. That's our energy sector. Energy sector is in a downtrend. Notice price action moving up and giving it all up. All right, so still neutral right there on XLE. All right, neutral to bearish because they're down here in quadrant 1 based on the last 6 months of price action. They're still in quadrant 1, so that's kind of neutral bearish right there. All right, let's take a look at XLF. This is our financials. So XLU, that's our utilities. XLI is our industrials. All right, and then XLF is our financials. Okay, you can see price action for XLF, moving it up and giving it up. So it's on the bullish side of things, so still just neutral right there. Okay, now if we take this anchored VWAP, which not sure why that was put there, move it back to this one, you can see we're underneath that prior all-time high anchored VWAP. We could probably slide this down to here. You can see that might be a target for XLF if they consolidate through here, come down and spike that after some time. So there's XLF moving up, giving it up right there. So just still kind of neutral, but on the bullish side of the midpoint there. Okay, so just neutral right there. All right, let's take a look at XRT. It's our retail sector. Now, retail sector was in a channel right through here. So they were in a channel. See them, price actions in that channel, and then they broke out. Okay, so they had themselves a little breakout. Okay, but guess what? They moved up, and then they gave it up. Maybe they pull back, find support on the top side of this channel. It's a possibility that they find support on the top side of this channel, and they bounce back up, kind of the J hook. All right, so watch for the J hook on XRT. All right, so right across the top of this minor support. Minor supports all of the peaks within the consolidation. So this would be minor support. That would be minor support. That, and that. Okay, major support would be the valleys inside of the channel. Okay, so that would be that. These are the valleys. Okay, so those are the minor support. This is the major support down there. Okay, so that's XRT, still bullish. All right, it's a big bull flag breakout. You can see price went up and over to the right. Okay, notice they didn't give it up. See how they're giving it up here? They didn't do that here. See how they went up? All right, and held the higher ground. Now they held it for like 9-10 months here. Okay, now price here has gone up and it's giving it up right there. So just neutral right now. We'll see what happens. Maybe they can spin things around for today. We'll see what happens. All right, let's take a look at last one, IYT, our transports. All right, here's the transports. Transports are in a downtrend. They took out this low, they took out this low, and they're working on this low, and they're underneath the midpoint, and they're underneath all these prior all-time high anchored VWAPs. And you can see the price action, and that's really not the candle. It was a lower high and a lower low, closing underneath a bearish trap, underneath a falling 17. So transports in a downtrend. Now, transports represent shelves being stocked, shelves being reloaded, people being moved around the country. All right, you got some software you need to train. You got a new client, and you got to train your new client on some software. All right, could be a platform. All right, a little bit of Salesforce. So you send your top guys over there, and they go over there and train. That's part of transportation. So that's everything to do with like Delta Airlines, all right? That's all transportation, all right? FedEx, moving and shipping packages around. So if they're not doing well, all right, then that means the robust economy is kind of over. In order to have a nice robust rally, you're going to want your transports to be in an uptrend. And you can see we're underneath the 17 right now. So they're not. We're not having that. There's not a chance we're going to have a robust rally unless we got the transports behind us. We got technology, all right, which is a leading indicator, is in an uptrend. That's great, but the semiconductors are not. The financials are in a downtrend. So of the Trinity, and the Trinity is the financials, all right, the transports, and the semiconductors or technology, all right? Semiconductors just lost theirs. Technology is still intact, but the financials and the transports are not on board. All right, so could we have a rally? Yes. Will it be a robust rally? No. Not till we get these other two back on board. They got to get up over their 17s and over some of these prior all-time high anchored VWAPs in order for us to have a robust rally. If you go back to XRT, all right, you can see the pink line down here. But that's That's the all-time high, anchored VWAP, but that was made back in 2021, post-COVID. That was our COVID recovery right there. All right, so you can see we're up over that all-time high anchored VWAP. On the daily chart, we were green, and we were in a bull flag until we lost it right there. Now, they could recover it later today. We'll see what happens, or maybe later next week. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right, let's go check out the economic package. And here we are with the economic package. I like to watch the dollar because when we have a weak dollar, it makes our goods and services more affordable to foreign countries. And that means we can sell not just to people in the USA, we can sell to, let's say, Canada, Mexico, China, Japan, all right? Because it makes it easier, because we want to get paid in dollars, so they have to convert their currency to ours in order to pay us, all right? Because that's how we're taxed. We're measured on the amount of dollars that we took in as revenue, all right? So everything has to be converted to dollars, because we're not taxed on Canadian dollars. We're taxed on United States dollars. So they have to convert their currency to ours. So if we have a strong currency, it means it's going to take more of their currency to pay us for those goods and services. And that pretty much means that we're not going to be as competitive, all right, as some other countries that have a weak monetary policy or a weak currency, all right? So we want a weak currency. With a weak currency, you can have a nice, robust rally in the markets if everything's in an uptrend as well, okay? You can have a weak currency, like right here. We had a nice, robust rally coming out of September, but we also had a rising dollar as well. Okay, so this puts the kibosh on any robust rally, because you can see the dollar's moving up, so the strength of it is more and more. So it's going to cost countries like, let's say, Saudi Arabia wants some air conditioning from Carrier. All right, it's going to cost them more of their currency because they're going to have to convert it to ours if we have a strong dollar. All right, so that's if you look at this, this is down here at 100, and now we're up at 108, 107. That's a 7% increase in currency value. Now, I don't know what the exchange rate, whether they lost money on theirs or their currency got weaker or stronger. Because if theirs got stronger at the same time ours got stronger, all right, there might not be much change in the conversion rate, all right? But if theirs got weaker while ours got stronger, it might be more than 7%, all right, in order to pay us in dollars for the air conditioning that Carrier sold them. All right, I'm just giving you for example. All right, so there's the dollar. So I like to keep an eye on the dollar, and the dollar is making higher lows and higher highs. The dollar's in an uptrend. All right, see these big candles here? Uptrend, making higher lows, higher highs. Okay, notice the dollar went up, and it didn't give it up. It went up, and it held the higher ground up here, up over prior support. Okay, that's bullish. It's bullish. Now they've gone up again. We want to see if they're going to hold the higher ground. And that's bullish on the dollar, but not so much for the market. Okay, let's look at max pain. Max pain for today is 480. We are at 482. Hold on. We were at 479. We're at 482.02. All right, so They've already hit max pain, but they did not hit it during our open session. All right, so there's max pain for today, and the put to call ratio is 2 1/3 puts for every call. All right, so that's all the puts and calls that expired today. All right, puts and calls. So you got 2 1/3 puts for each call that expires today. So there could be a put squeeze. That's what I'm saying. All right, on the earnings calendar for today, we've got Carnival Cruise Line. They're going to report this morning. They've got a market cap of like $63 billion. Not really going to move the markets. Not like an Apple or Amazon or Broadcom. All right, so there's NASDAQ. All right, that's the earnings for today. For Monday earnings, we're going to have BHP as soon as they 125 billion as soon as they find their P&L or decide when they're going to report on Monday. All right, so that's all we got for that one. On the economic calendar, the main event this week was the FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. All right, as well as the presser and also GDP that came in yesterday, which was looking pretty good. It was 3.1, so that's not bad. All right. Not quite 4.0, not quite 3.5, but still over 3. That's pretty good for GDP. All right, for today we got personal income and outlays at 8:30, consumer sentiment at 10, and then we got a rig count at 1. That's it. So I'll take questions in the room. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and render my video.